Son of former Vice President Farouk Mohammed ALIU Mahama has dispelled the notion that his father made little impact as Vice President of Ghana. He said his late father distinguished himself creditably and acted several times when President Kufuor was not in the country. Also in this interview with Thomas Adotei-Papo is the Executive Director of the ALIU Mahama Foundation.
When you first heard about your father's death, how was the emotions like? What went through your mind?
Trust me, I have been devastated, and I could not even believe that such a man of stature could just go like that.
Many Ghanaians would want to know how the family is doing after ALIU Mahama's death. Would you share that with us? How is your mom doing? How is the entire family doing?
My mom is actively a very religious person, and she's doing things behind the scenes. She's now helping to restructure the foundation with the kids. I am the eldest. My brothers are all into business. They have various businesses. Fayyad has his business. Halim has his water company. We're all doing well. And I remember quite well what my dad told me, that education is key to one's life. And I believe the best thing my dad did for me was to educate me and to instill greater discipline. That today, that we all the kids are all living good lives and enjoying our businesses and living a life worth living.
We've had in this country the situation when a vice president dies or a prominent person dies and then the family is neglected. In this ALIU Mahama Foundation, what would you say has been government support to the foundation and to the entire family?
The government of Ghana, led by John Dramani Mahama, we can't deny him the fact that he's done a lot behind the scenes, and during the funeral we all saw what he did. And also behind the scenes, it's not everything that the president does for the family that has to come into the public domain. But I believe the president is a family friend to us, and we believe that he's very closer to us and he's done a lot for us. And we also can't take away the fact that the former president John Kufuor and the new Patriotic Party have done immensely well. And we believe that all of them have been responsible in our upkeep, and in diverse ways they've done their responsibilities that they're supposed to do after our dad's death.
Some will say that you need to pick up the mantle and be a politician and follow his suit. Are you considering going to politics?
I always say that I'm a very privileged son, because if you care to know, my grandfather was the late Alhaji Mori Gala. He was a great politician in the CPP time. Again, my dad has become the vice president for 8 years. And I believe that the politics is in the family. But for now, we have to take everything once at a time and talk to the Almighty Allah, because I took consolation from the fact that my dad was just an ordinary engineer and all of a sudden he became a vice president. So we're praying to see what God has for me in the future. But for now, the political ambition is on hold.
So now let's go back to your father. My very final question. There is a perception, that your father, when he was vice president, did not really impact as a vice president, because he was overshadowed by the president, John Kufuor, the former president of Ghana. What is your reaction to that sentiment?
First of all, you can't say that, because it's John Kufuor who brought Alhaji ALIU Mahama into the limelight. So it's a privilege by a president to bring you on board. So if he's the president, he brought Alhaji ALIU Mahama. And even from the interviews, we could see that John Kufuor had so much confidence in his vice president. So we should clear that notion that he didn't have room. He had his functions as a vice president, the president had his function, and whenever the president was not in town, he was the one handling the mantle. So that perception should be taken out of context, because Alhaji ALIU Mahama was given room to operate.
Some would have thought that the man ALIU Mahama began a campaign against indiscipline. You could have picked that up too as well, so that he will be happy in his grave knowing that what he began is being continued.
ALIU Mahama believes that you cannot just go and tell someone to be disciplined if the person is well educated. The person would even understand in the first place what you are talking about. So that's why we are looking at education. And he also believes that when someone is not in good health, how will you go and be talking to the person about discipline? So for us to also be disciplined, we have to be in a good state of health. ALIU Mahama, being the man that he was, he doesn't like telling the whole world about what he does. He believes that when you're touching a life, it's okay to do it on the quiet. So over the years, we've been touching lives medically, we've been touching life educationally, as well as helping in poverty alleviation. Every year he brings medical doctors from the state for free medical care in the northern region. But because we don't make it so public, people do not know about it.
1 year on,